a intro video to a response that I had on my Polaroid internet tablet. One of the users wanted to ask what was rooting and overclocking your CPU, and so I decided to go ahead and make a video to intro to learning how to do this. In Android, whenever you hear the word rooting, you've heard it before. It's just said differently. It is like jailbreaking your iPhone or running administrations in Windows. It's just generally a all-around super user access to things that has been blocked. With the Polaroid tablet, it's already been rooted, and I will show you some tips and tricks on how to get what you want. Now, generally, when it comes to Android phones or tablets, you want to do some research into it and see if your tablet or phone can be rooted, or if it's already been rooted. If it has, or you want to check to see, you can go to the Google Market, or as in this case, Mobile One Market, and it will and you can get an app that will check to see if it's been rooted. And taking the steps to get rooted, or to have it rooted, or to do things that are unrooted, you run the higher chance of bricking your device. And what does that mean? That means that it's a paperweight if you screw it up. You may get it depends on how bad you brick it. Generally, you can wipe it, reset it, and you'll be okay. Or you have to take it to Verizon or AT&T or Sprint, and they have to reset it, and usually they charge you for it. In this case, Polaroid, you're generally, if you brick it, you're screwed. You just wasted your money, and you got a nice little paperweight that you can show off. But so far, I have not been able to brick it, and nor do I want to try to brick it. It generally does what I want it to do. So let's get started. The first thing is overclocking this. Like I said in my previous videos, when I got it, its CPU was set low. So what you want to do is you want to download the app off the mobile market. It's called CPU Master Free. Click more. And it's set, whenever I first got it, its setting was set on Fantasy, which was a really low end, very unresponsive setting. So I went in and I set it and the scaling was set on Performance. When you start off overclocking, you want to keep from setting it on boot, and the reason for that being is because if you screw up and you set it too high or too low, you want to be able to reset it and get it off of its settings. When I first got this was set for about I believe somewhere in the rounds of 1100 megahertz or something like that. So, and this generally goes for any type of overclocking that you want to do on Windows, or I don't know if they can do it on Mac. I don't like Apple. I've never liked them. So Windows, Linux, and Android, which Android and Linux are the same. It's just, different variants. But what you want to do is you want to slowly but surely work it up. And it'll start turning red, and you just want to slowly but surely get the CPU used to working in overclock. And when I say overclock, it means that whenever they make these CPUs, the processors, they generally have a setting that they get to before they start having errors or mistakes. When you overclock, you will run the chance of it getting hotter. It could start messing up. You shorten your CPU lifespan. So you don't want to overclock it, way beyond. If you do a little bit of overclocking where you just want to get the sluggishness out of the screen transitions, or you want just a little bit better performance, by all means go ahead. But when you start getting into the higher end of overclocking, then you got to think of ways of cooling it down, water cooling, oil cooled, but that's generally for PCs. So I have yet to see a water-cooled tablet, and I don't think there'll ever be a water-cooled tablet as far as I know, maybe 10, 20 years down the road. Uh, when you set your minimum, you can generally you slide it wherever you feel desirable. I generally try to keep it, not too far down, but not too far up. I want it to be able to slow down if I want it to slow down, save some battery, but I don't want it to get to so low on the end that it takes forever to pull up an app or things of that nature. In my previous videos, I did a benchmark test on it, so if you want to see that, by all means, go ahead and do my benchmarking. And you'll have to figure out what you want to do on the GPU. I generally don't know what this means, but I usually don't jack with this unless I want to start doing some tests and see which one is better for it. Here's all the specs: an ARM V7 processor, and now moving on to your boot up, where the user asked me, says, how do I change it to different a boot up screen? And what I use ROM Toolbox, and this is all free. I don't see the point of paying for any app if I can get the general for free. And what this does is it allows me, it is for root users only. And generally what this allows me to do is a multiple of things. Ad blocker, it lets me reboot, I can go into different things. Performance, SD boost, which I wanted to kill it. Generally you want to boost your SD so that way whenever you start up, it doesn't take forever starting up. It generally runs a little bit quicker in the boot up. Let's go all the way over to interface, and all you gotta do is do the boot animations and go to, it is a server, so you'll have to have Wi-Fi or 3G, 4G, whatever, and you just go scroll down to what you want, and there is a lot of them, so you can pick and choose what you prefer. And as for me, I like Droid pissing on Apple, because Droid is awesome. Apple sucks. Anyway, what you want to do is just click your install, and then it'll install it. And it says install and complete. So you come over here, do your rebooter. This is a little widget that I have that instead of having to hold it down or whatever, it allows me to reboot. And I want to do a fast, just do a general reboot. Sometimes the touchscreen is a little harder to figure out. It's not near sensitive. Sometimes it's sensitive. It wants to, screw around with it. And there you go. You just changed your boot up. Give it time to boot up. And by all means, and just as a disclaimer, I should have put this in the first of the video. By all means, I have no certificates or degrees or anything in Linux. This is strictly everything that I've learned is either hands-on, I've seen through YouTube videos, or have heard from other people of things to do. So, I mean, if you really want to know on any tablet or anything, go in and do a search for list your device and put rooted, or a website to look into is Roots Wiki. Will have a list of devices, and a lot of people go on and comment and ask questions on how to root a device or how to do something different, ROMs, stuff like that. I haven't found a custom ROM for this yet. And see, I have mine set, and as soon as you get it set, I'll kill that. And as soon as you get it set for the desirable overclocking, you can set it for boot, and then, like you heard the little sound, it went ahead and set it for its frequency for its CPU. On this Polaroid tablet, it generally does very, very well on the battery, unless I'm just running hardcore on it, watching YouTube videos, streaming music, stuff like that. But generally, the battery is very, very good. Also, I told you that sometimes you cannot root or you brick, and one of them is a Motorola Droid X. And the reason why this runs a high risk of bricking is because these have a boot strap on them, which if you try to, I'm sure that there's a way around it, but it just generally makes it harder for the typical user to boot or to root or to do anything that's super user privilege. And you will have to take this to, if you brick it, you will have to take this back to Verizon, and they will generally charge you to unbrick it. So, I mean, in the end, it's your decision what you want to do. If you've got the money to burn, by all means, brick it until hell freezes over, or try different things. I mean, it's strictly up to you, your preference, your skills, and how much money you're willing to put into it. But I generally will tell you right now, and for many videos to come, do your research. Look online, look on the YouTube videos, get a general ask of information before you try to do anything. So that way you're not over there beating yourself against the wall senseless because you failed to get information or you don't understand and you attempted to try it, and now you got a nice little paperweight to show off to all your friends. Leave any comments or questions, or subscribe, and I will do the best I can. I generally work nights, and so I'm only off on Mondays to do videos. And thank you, and have a happy new year.